The Nike CEO. So obviously Nike has been struggling. Lots of takes and reasons for that. The funny thing is their CEO stepped down and got replaced by a former executive, which funny enough started as an intern.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. And the stock just exploded.
Went up 10%.
I mean, once again, not talking shit about the former CEO. He had a good run. I've never been the CEO of Nike. I'm not going to hate, but like, I would imagine that is about as clear of a sign as you could get.
The trouble with Nike, whoever the board is, I don't know who's on the board, but they hired a software guy to run a consumer-facing.
It's still that guy. Remember we talked about that guy a lot.
Well, yeah, the previous CEO, John Donahoe, was the ServiceNow CEO.
Right.
Like, how do you think he can run Nike? That's why he missed on Anthony Edwards. He missed on literally every athlete you could think of.
Right.
Not just athlete. Like, I think reality is Nike is not a technology company.
Right.
It is a fashion brand. And fashion brands are built with emotion.
Right.
That is why people buy.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Man, Diddy is so fucked. That just came to my mind. I didn't even plan to like open with that.
Yeah.
But just like now, I feel like what's also happening is I think it finally feels safe for other people to tell their story.
And it's just going to pile.
Because like he got denied bail, bond, whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like now, if you were kind of a little scared still after Cassie and all these lawsuits, I feel like the confidence in the storytelling.
I'll tell you why why I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
The guy was taking videos of everyone, right?
Right.
So isn't
even if let's say he did something horrific to you, but let's say you were also doing horrific things, and you don't now at this point, if you're at his house at these parties,
right, you don't know
what is going to be shared to the. I mean, it's very much a Jeffrey Epstein type situation where like you could easily. I mean, they put him on suicide watch on Friday. That's not good.
What's the over under of when they kind of decide he can't be with us longer?
I think they've decided that.
Are you saying they Epstein him? Are you saying over under on Epsteining him?
I mean, the deep state.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks to a month.
I think people think.
That's fair.
So
I'd say under a month.
It was really interesting. I was talking to a friend who listens to the pod, and I was like, Diddy's taking everyone down. That's what I said. And he was like, who's going to take down other rappers? I'm like, do you understand? Diddy's white party in the Hamptons.
Right.
Peak Diddy. Everyone was there.
Well, just picture Michael Rubin's party today.
Yes.
It was that then.
Yes.
Probably bigger.
Bigger. I would say it's bigger. I think Michael Rubin's party was 200 people.
It's before social media was a thing, too.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, this is probably the last time I'll say this out loud, but we went to his house. And
do not say we, you two perverts with your baby oil and your dildos. I'm not around these seedy characters like you people.
You're the one who stays out the latest of all of us.
I know better.
You go to the most bullshit of all of us, and somehow you weren't there.
I mean, I knew. Come on.
You knew nothing.
I knew.
Nothing. But
I knew I didn't want to be there.
Here's my point. I don't believe it was, I forget, but I don't think it was a holiday. It wasn't anything special. It was just an after party on a random weekend. And the people that were at that house it looked like the Grammys.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the fuck goes on.
It was like the most famous people.
Yes.
We saw them all.
All of them. And I don't know what happens after we left, but if those people are on camera, then you're right. Nobody can say anything.
No one's saying anything.
So, do you know what's interesting about
what about like the prostitutes?
No, hold on. The Miami party.
You don't want to get exposed. You don't want to be associated with it.
Do you think a male gigolo will be like, I'm going to kill a book?
No, there's no book.
I don't know if you remember, Drama, the Miami party we were at his house.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Do you remember we were all in the backyard?
Yeah.
And you named the famous person. They were all there.
Yeah.
He was inside.
Yeah.
And he was like roaming the living room.
But with like a small group
yes.
of very A-list people. And the whole party was outside and they were roaming. I don't know. I don't even feel like I should be on camera saying I've been to a party.
Everyone's been to a Diddy party.
I have not.
But you want to know who fucked himself is LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron did anything,
ain't no party
but
like a
God damn it, man. That on Instagram Live saying ain't no party like a Diddy party.
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day,
I mean, he's an entertainer.
Yeah, and look, from my perspective, the party wasn't that great. Okay, just for the record, I didn't. There is a party like a Diddy party. I didn't see anything out of the norm. Okay,
I think like the real issue is that I think people who were like participating in any, criminal type stuff were probably frequent, people that joined.
Right.
And I think I think people think it's just like, oh, it's Meek Mill and some random people. This guy was the guy. Everyone wanted to hang out with him. Wall Street people.
Yeah.
Every hedge fund
people.
guy, every business person.
Everyone was around them.
Every politician.
In like
once
the
again,
2000s, like he was so famous, right?
But it's like Barack Obama and Oprah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying they had any involvement in anything. Just to be clear, I doubt they did.
Freak off.
But like,
Oprah's pictures are a little suspect.
I'm just saying,
like who she called her
I
friends.
know.
Harvey Weinstein.
I know.
Did you like the videos that are showing up about him and Bieber? Is a little weird.
Yes.
And Bieber looks
Bieber was like
traumatized.
15. He was like 16.
Yeah.
I actually I feel really bad for Bieber now because I feel like everyone's always been really hard on him.
Yeah.
And he probably got fucking abused.
I bet he did.
I've always had a soft spot for Bieber. A, I love his music. B, when you're that famous, that young, people just take advantage of you.
Well,
both physically, financially.
Yeah, either way. I mean, he's done interviews saying like, I don't want anyone to go through what I've been through and stuff like that. So even maybe it's just emotionally, but I don't know.
You got to
Those
suspect.
videos don't age well.
No, nothing.
I mean,
nothing.
Diddy is on video with Bieber saying, "Why don't you mess with me anymore?"
No, and he
got really nervous.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to suck your dick.
Oh my God. I mean, there's a video of them saying we're together for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Nobody asked. I'm not going to tell you where we're at. I mean, look, at a minimum, even if, it wasn't completely illegal what happened at that little stay over, it was probably pretty gnarly.
Then I know it's on the docket, but Usher went to his house when he was 14.
Yeah. And he talks about how they used to like wake up together and fight over the cereal.
This is like Michael Jackson meets Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. And here's what else.
Jeffrey Epstein wasn't famous. Michael Jackson had the fame, but Diddy was like, Michael Jackson was just a weirdo probably since childhood.
Right.
Diddy got weird as an adult.
There's a chance, and this is pure speculation and just for fun, there's a chance if you tie in all of the rumors about Diddy having people killed, and especially there's a lot of those rumors that tie back to people who were going to out him.
Yeah.
He's now, if that's the case, he's like a evil villain movie character that's like a sexual deviant gangster celebrity that will have sex parties and then kill people for outing him. And then I mean, a lot of people speculate, obviously, his involvement in the Tupac killing, maybe even Biggie. Like if any of that is true, he's a movie character.
It's way worse. I mean, the fact that if you just,
it's like Empire or something.
Kim Porter, his ex-wife.
Yeah. There's heavy speculation about that.
Like,
I don't even know if it's speculation anymore. I think we know now.
But didn't like her ex-husband committed suicide or something?
Wasn't her ex-husband Albie Shore?
Albie Shore died of something else. I thought
Albie Shore is the father of Quincy.
But let me just say this. There's a lot of weird shit. Yeah. There's a lot of weird deaths and suicides.
How did this guy get away with this for this long?
I think it's just power.
I think he's just one of a kind. Like
you don't think anyone else is doing this shit?
No, I think it's happening. And I think I know you guys think he's the last one. I think there's going to be other people. I don't know.
I think so, but I don't think anyone did it on his level. I mean, think about it. Even when we were around, like when he was doing when Cassie was doing the Young and Reckless stuff and he was around, like everyone, there was just this air of like fear around him.
Yeah.
All the assistants, everyone working with Cassie, everyone was like very scared of him. Now I get it. But at the time I was like, damn, he must be like really harsh.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had fucking 1,000 cans of baby oil.
He wasn't Steve Jobs. He was,
right.
you know when
I thought he was Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
like just very
perfection.
mean. Yes.
So
No.
here's a last Diddy story.
Yeah.
I have a close friend who you guys know. They were potentially going to be a PR rep for him.
Yeah. Oof. Rough gig.
And the Zoom, he's on FaceTime, or I don't know if it's a FaceTime or Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
He's on. It's so funny now that we hear all these stories.
Yeah.
He's on like in the water in Miami.
Right.
And just lathering himself with ocean.
Yep.
And then goes into the bathroom. This is a professional meeting.
Yep.
And he's just lathering himself with stuff in the meeting.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
Yeah.
I mean,
He had to prep.
you guys, I don't think you realize people
On a jet ski, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's on a jet ski, lathering himself with lotion.
This is
then
why,
he
like-
parks at whatever his dock is, and then he goes in and continues to keep lathering
He must
himself.
have really soft skin. You know, lots of baby oil and lathering.
I mean, I would assume
It's
he's
so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
so ridiculous. And the problem is that this further keeps like confirming the Diddy rumors have been for 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years. No, 30. When did Tupac die?
Yeah. When did I would say
96.
When
I
did
Googled it. It was
Yeah, so
96.
But was the
yeah.
Shine
That's damn near
J-Lo
30.
shooting? That was before Tupac.
No,
No, it was
Shine was
after.
after.
Early 2000s.
Okay, so it started with Tupac,
Yeah.
then Shine,
You're talking
J-Lo,
nearly
then
30 years of terror. This guy's worse than the Taliban.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's pure evil. I don't support it. Obviously, I'm not making a joke, but I kind of am. Like, it's impressive. Going that long, if this guy was like having people killed
Yes.
and then doing all this other stuff, I mean, you're right on it in the sense that like, I think sometimes the internet might feel like, oh, we're exposing people. We know that you can't hide from us. Like, yeah, you can. He
Yeah.
made it through all of Me Too.
Yeah.
He made it through all cancel culture.
I think
He might be the Joker.
No, but it comes down to kind of what we always say, that if you financially benefit people, everyone turns a blind eye.
Right. And not only that, but there's another thing we've learned in this city is like, if you're in control of the vibes and the girls and the parties, you also get, people want to go have fun at your things.
Yeah.
And I think the combo of making a lot of money for a lot of people and showing a lot of people a good time, maybe some more than others, you get away with murder. Maybe actually.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You get away with murder. He got away with murder.
That sucks. Cause like, yeah. And it's also what I've learned after a couple of days. We'll talk about this later too, but a couple of days on TikTok, watching a couple Diddy videos is like,
Believe everything.
well, now the internet just thinks, you know, it sends everyone into like a conspiracy, you know, that like,
Who was backing him?
like who's backing him? Everyone's guilty. Anyone that has ever been in a photo with him was doing this. It just kills like trust.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what's really interesting, I hadn't been on Netflix in a very long time to watch anything. And I turned it on Friday night, maybe Saturday night. And I see, there's a new Bill Gates documentary.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And and I don't know if it's old, new, or whatever, but I got it pushed on me. And what's interesting is that it feels like there's a PR push that he probably is financing.
Oh, he looks good in the documentary.
Yes.
What, like he's this humanitarian?
Yeah, just like the mind of Bill Gates or
Right.
whatever, some shit like that. And it could have been old. I have no idea.
I mean,
But he
if
was
you're
pushed-
Bill,
His homies are like, yeah, we got you. We're going to shove some good, because like his legacy is basically on the brink of complete collapse.
yeah,
Right?
it's teetering.
I think COVID was the worst thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
And at this point,
Well, I think it's the Epstein.
yeah,
He
but like,
clearly
But
got
he was so
outed.
front and center.
I think, I know you think it's that. people are not over the COVID thing. The vaccine, they're not over the rules. They're not over any of that shit. That has had a
I get
generational impact on people.
I agree, but he's not Fauci.
No, but he was the face.
Yeah, but remember we joked on this pod so many times about everyone thought he was microchipping people through the vaccine.
Yeah.
It got pretty. And I
but
think
that's kind of like fantasy, right?
Right, but the problem is when you make him this evil villain pushing the vaccine and profiting from the vaccine, which I don't know on what level, but a lot of people think he did very heavily. And then you add like Epstein, it's like, oh, that's the one to...
I think that Epstein, he clearly was a little loose in his personal life, which is why he got divorced.
He's hanging out with Epstein.
Yeah, that's
the guy's wearing baggy jeans, bro.
Buck wild.
But yeah.
I mean, his ex-wife wants nothing to do with him.
The story...
She distanced herself from the foundation. She knew what was up.
This guy's teetering.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't people of that, if you are worth over $100 billion,
yeah,
why are you still in the public face?
It's ego.
Yeah.
You have no idea. And now it's legacy.
The only thing rich people want that they don't have is fame. We know that.
And I think it's beyond fame for someone like him. It's why
this is why
why so many people, like, I don't know if you've studied like or read about the Carnegies and the Mellons and those types of people, like those folks were such bad people, the robber barons. Right. What they did was like, fuck it, we're gonna make every library, that's
school. How the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all. That's
part of what's the movie? They talk about this.
I'm not sure.
It's about the fentanyl movie. Yeah.
Right.
But
no, the person that created the nuclear bomb got the Nobel Peace Prize.
No. What I'm saying is that the Nobel Peace Prize was created
by Oppenheimer.
No. By
Dynamite.
The creator of Dynamite. Who there was a rumor that he had died. And so obituaries came out and people called him the Merchant of Death and all these terrible things. And he read them. He hadn't died. And he realized at that moment he had to change his reputation. And so he created the Nobel Peace Prize. So now when you hear Nobel, you think of all the great achievements. Not that, but it was all a PR move.
Yeah. I agree. No, and I know that. I know that story.
What Gates is doing, I'm telling you, if you ask the average person in America 30 years ago to now, Bill Gates is not popular by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
He's dead to the average person. He is now on his legacy focus.
He's fumbling that though. Everything he does, he probably thought like being the steward of the vaccines would make him. His only
hope is he goes full Trump.
Well, no, he actually.
I thought you were going to say trans. That
he's
would work
actually
too.
No. I think he has to go full Trump.
What's sad, because obviously he's a flawed person. There's no question.
Right.
But he's done so much in the world, and no one gives a shit.
Right. And here's the thing: we don't know today, the same way we didn't know about Diddy. We don't know
what he did.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe
he's like malaria. Anymore. He's going to India, Pakistan.
Maybe he was curing malaria because he was too busy doing something else.
Right.
No, maybe he was doing both.
Yeah, the problem is you did something bad, it doesn't matter. All that shit's discounted.
Well, that's the rough debate that you could go on, and I don't have a point of view on this one, but it's like separating is it a net positive?
He's a net positive to the world, no question.
Right.
And if he, did really bad stuff, I don't approve of any of it. But in terms of his global impact, there's no question Bill Gates was a net positive.
Yeah,
wait till we find out what happened, then you may change.
Yeah, there's also a lot of really shady stuff about like vaccines being tested on kids in Africa and a lot of people dying. And like, I'm not saying, once again, I don't know. And I know all the good he's done, but like, I don't know how.
Like he eradicated polio.
I know. I don't know
how he did it.
I don't know how big the skeletons are.
Yeah.
They're in there, but it could be a couple or it could be a small army.
I have this like,
you could argue that with Diddy. How many times you danced to Diddy? Are you the best time of your life?
Yeah.
A lot. At his house too. Yeah. On top of that.
Take that.
Yeah. You know how many times?
For the record, I never danced.
Yeah.
We didn't dance. No, I didn't dance in the house. That's bullshit.
I left really oily. I don't know what happened.
I'm just saying, you can make that argument with Diddy. Diddy brought joy to millions of people. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't condone criminal activity by
It
any
sounds
means.
like you do.
If you cure polio.
Good polio, you can do whatever you want.
I just wonder, like, I do feel like if I could name any big person in the world that's more on the edge, it's probably Bill Gates.
Yeah, he's there. He's on the
You
edge.
think he's the next Diddy?
I'm not saying it'll ever. I never thought Diddy would actually get arrested. I'm not saying
Bill
anything.
Gates has enough money to basically shut it all down.
And like power within governments.
Yes.
Like it's different.
It's different.
But
I don't think Diddy thought he was going down.
No, but he's not that rich.
A billionaire, not 100 billion.
No, yeah, but you may need to write $100 million checks here to make this shit go away.
yeah.
Like, you know, if Gates makes a $200 million donation to Harris Walls,
Like Diddy wasn't at Davos.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
Bill
wasn't
Gates is there with an agenda and they're listening.
yeah, and a suite.
And a strangely large suite with some lubricant. Allegedly, it's a joke. Listen.
I know we're having
Bill,
fun.
come
Right? If you
on.
work for the foundation, you guys are doing great work.
You know, it's
Right.
so I've had friends who've worked at the Bill and I guess she's not part of the foundation anymore.
Yeah.
Bills.
It's Bill's
Bill.
foundation.
Yeah, Melinda said,
But-
"Get my fuck."
Freaky
Because she's
Bill.
protecting her legacy.
That's what's crazy.
She does not want to be associated with him ever again.
That's the
But they
glaring red
run
flag.
it like McKinsey, Goldman.
Right.
You're working, 15, 16 hours a day.
Yeah,
you don't
so what?
sleep. You
Bill's
travel.
not.
You
Like,
can't commit crimes.
Yeah, Bill's
I'm
not
just
working
saying
16 hours.
that's the work he did through the foundation.
Yeah.
Like these were like super high performing people that went and were like, holy shit, this is like insane.
Right.
How much we have to work.
Right. But that's like
but
walking
that doesn't
in.
mean anything.
No, I'm saying he provided.
You know how hard Diddy worked?
That's like walking into
Yeah.
Interscope
He
though
worked-
and being like, nobody here looks like they're having any freak offs.
Yeah,
The boss dog is
Did
the
he
one.
probably work 24 hours a day?
exactly. This is the working
Well.
hard doesn't mean anything.
There's a lot of oil.
Well, no, the oil was part of the work.
You're right. You're right. It was all kind of blended.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
probably
I'm
how
saying.
Bill is. He's probably going on a malaria trip, doing some shenanigans.
It's really, and the problem is now, you for Bill Gates, he's still relatively young.
What's
Well-
he in his mid 60s?
Probably in his 70s, I would guess. And he's got this legacy. I mean, that's all he's thinking about is legacy.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
That's why he's
money's
been doing what
irrelevant.
he's
He's
been
giving
doing.
it all away.
And I think his view of the world doesn't matter anymore, and no one goes a fuck. And he needs to like redo his image first.
Right.
I was very instrumental on helping Zuck with his image.
You were
Yeah.
instrumental.
Yes.
Yeah.
How so?
I called it out. I said, you
You
rebrand
think
this guy.
Zuck listens?
I think
It
you
doesn't
heard
even
it.
matter about your business. It's about you.
I think
These
you heard it.
businesses are tied to human beings. His foundation, his legacy is tied to him. In this, it's going to be very hard to recreate the Nobel laureate in today's day and age with TikTok.
Right.
You're just not. It's
Well, we should talk about that. So there's
Yeah.
these stories that, more and more young adults, more and more Americans, but especially young adults, are getting their news from TikTok.
Yeah.
Now, I have a couple quick takes. My first take that's a little controversial is TikTok is actually pretty fucking good at news.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And I'll give you an example of something I saw the other day. Once again, it's political, but I don't know. I'm not the fact checker here. But apparently, like Kamala and the crew were talking about this woman who had passed away, and they said that it was because of her inability to get a certain abortion treatment. And there were nurses on TikTok saying that that isn't what happened, that it was just medical negligence, that procedure that she needed was not illegal. And in any state, any of the 50 states, it was just medical malpractice. Now, once again, I don't mean to make this political, but what I'm saying is that is some really interesting stuff that if I just saw the headline of like, here's this woman who passed away, like even I would be like, that's rough with this whole like taking abortion to the states thing. And here's some truth. And so I think if anyone wants to complain about you getting your news from TikTok, you should blame mainstream media for not being diligent.
I don't think
people are looking for other sources.
39% of adults under 30 say they get regular news from TikTok.
I mean, our clips probably, we go pretty viral.
We're part of the problem.
We're part of the solution.
We're not part of the problem.
We're part of the solution.
Well, depending on what side you look at it.
Because like the thing is like, I would say one of the best things you've said on this podcast ever was
Tell me.
That was around why, if democracy really should exist, Trump should win. Right. Like there's a shot that like if he doesn't win, then you could have your take on why it doesn't. And in this current election cycle, all the powers that be are against this guy. Everybody. And it keeps getting more every day, right?
Everyone.
Right? And it's really hard to watch the news and feel like you're getting an unbiased reaction to anything or information. And so what TikTok does is, and it's on both sides, by the way, like liberal kids. I've seen some great videos from young liberal people, young conservative people. And it gives you such a clearer view of why people are doing things. Like I've heard more rational arguments to vote for Harris on TikTok than I have heard on CNN.
Right. 100%.
Straight up. I've heard way more rational arguments on TikTok than I've heard anywhere else.
There's an account. I don't know if it's on your algorithm, Drama. Date right stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
His engagement is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Everything is millions of views and hundreds of thousands of likes.
Yeah.
Look, I want to give a really optimistic take.
I think he figured out a niche and he just leaned in.
Right. Yeah.
I want to give a really optimistic actually take here is I think if you like ignore that TikTok is like a viral product, right? And look at it as like almost like a relevance finding machine. Like their algorithm is better than any other algorithm. And now they've had years. No other platform has been able to catch it. What TikTok does the absolute best is it shows you stuff you want to see. Yeah. And if you keep watching it, keeps showing it. And so what it does in turn is it lets you know what people resonate with. It's a tester for that. Like if I was a mainstream news network, I would put out 100 stories a day on TikTok, and whatever the biggest ones were, that's what I would cover on my network.
And by the way, you'll know in 2 hours.
2 seconds. And the optimistic part of that is people actually, like, as crazy as like QAnon was, it didn't get very big.
No.
Like usually what gets big are the things that make the most sense. Yeah. People are pretty smart. And so it shows you, like you said, even though you're not a big Kamala fan, it shows you really valid arguments because those are the things that have made it through the bullshit detector. Yeah. And everyone else is like, oh, that's a good point.
And I think the most exciting thing about it, and this is where things get manipulated by foreign actors, are the comments. Right. Like the one thing that's bad on X and TikTok
is the bots.
Are the bots that are just clearly stoking
like you can
the flame.
Clearly get something going viral if you have bots.
But I think if you...
No, it's not even that. It's more of like...
Oh, no, you can't. No, you can't. It's just that you can get radicalized in the comments.
Yeah, that's it. It's the comments.
You can think that a lot of other people think your way, but I'm telling you, I don't think on TikTok you can hack to make something successful that otherwise wouldn't have been.
I don't think so. I don't think bots are... Like on X, a anonymous account can go very, very viral and cause a lot of headache. On TikTok, an anonymous account that's complete bullshit. I mean, the only anonymous accounts that I get served are very much like I follow like random sports accounts or like 90s concerts I get served. Those are obviously anonymous.
So you don't think you could get a farm in Philippines that just... No?
I think that I can't tell you exactly what TikTok prioritizes, but it's obviously like watch time, shares. They're smart enough that you can't hack TikTok. You can hack.
They're the Chinese government. Why would they allow you to get hacked?
Right. You can't You can't. The best content wins. And the fact that they have created, once again, like, does that make sense when I say try to take out of it that it's TikTok and pretend that it's just a machine that tells you what people like the most? And then you can react based on that knowledge. There's no better machine available to us to test what people resonate with than TikTok. And I think it shows in like this story from the nurse about the abortion thing. Like that wasn't radical content. It was just a valid take that was well spoken. It wasn't some batshit stuff. And so it got served to more and more people, and more people gravitated to it. Obviously, we know the real problem here is it's scary enough if our media, let's say our media is controlled by the Democrats, right? Mainly. That sucks. That's scary. Turns into propaganda. That's a problem. If our fucking news is controlled by China, that is insane.
Yeah. The thing is, we all get different TikTok feeds.
Yeah.
So what I get fed in my algorithm, it's probably different than you.
Yeah. You have woke talk.
Yeah.
But my point is that better? That we're just getting fed what we know we want, rather than just getting the news.
Well, the news has been bullshit. That's why we're at this point.
But you know what else I'll give them credit for
bullshit.
is like, I don't get like people getting hit by trains and shot in bunkers in Ukraine on my TikTok.
I don't either.
It's pretty clean. Like
I get sports clips.
I use TikTok for an hour. I usually use it in the sauna.
Yeah.
When I'm done, I feel
Your
like
phone works in the sauna?
Yeah, for 20 minutes and then it overheats. I feel like, I wasted time, but I don't feel gross.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great content. They know what I like.
Yeah.
And
like the problem is if China does this for 2 more years and then slowly starts moving the needle, you're not even going to know.
I mean, they could create a civil war if they wanted.
Tomorrow.
I think, I think if you looked on Twitter, X, that is all foreign agents.
Right.
Creating meme accounts because that's and that starts creating the divisiveness on everything. Anything that happens in America that could be slightly polarizing, you see it bubble immediately on X. And the reason why, and then you go look at the comments, it's all anonymous. It's an anonymous account posting it, anonymous account commenting on it. The real solve for me is, I've always said this, you gotta, everyone gets one account.
Right.
Got your ID. If you're a business, you gotta register it. Right. It's gotta be like, if you're really trying to solve the problem, I don't think anyone's trying to solve it because it's so good for engagement.
Well, and you've had like a subscription business in the past. I'm sure if you looked at the numbers and said, we're going to wipe out everything that isn't a real person, your company no longer exists.
Yeah, like X probably half the fucking site spots.
I'm sure Facebook, X, and Instagram, I'm sure all of it.
Yeah, all of it, yeah.
The only difference with TikTok is I believe most people consume.
Yeah.
But it's all, I bet you the business no longer makes sense if you do what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which it should be that.
Like Facebook basically has so many bots.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the average person has 700 accounts.
Yeah, I bet you yeah.
Because of all the bad actors in the
That's why I think they're stuck. I think it's like a catch-22.
Yeah.
You're right. And it would probably make the platform a lot better, but it would fundamentally probably kill it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, you're getting everyone hooked on this drug of TikTok. And look, remember when that story came out that the Russians, ties to the Russian government was paying right-leaning podcasters and media people? That was like, oh, fuck. That was 5 podcasters.
Yeah.
This is all of TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to slowly move the needle.
Yeah.
And like Anand said, there's a civil war literally by Christmas because you just...
Yeah.
Yeah, you
push the problem. That's so nuts.
It's so easy.
It's so nuts.
It's so easy to get people divided on any topic.
And we know that. Our government knows that. They try to do it. They do it with Trump. They do it with each other.
They do it with Caitlin Clark.
Right.
A WNBA player.
Right.
TikTok is so divided on Caitlin Clark.
Right. But you're handing all of that to China.
And I think it leans in on everyone's kind of biggest fears.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like the best marketing in the world is fear.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Fear.
Mm-hmm.
If you just look at all these businesses, they are pushing fear.
Mhm.
Fear of this, fear of that. And like if you're a brand, you're pushing the fear of not wearing it and being
A loser.
a loser.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of what TikTok realizes is, oh, this person is really insecure about their weight.
Yeah.
Great. I got 17 more videos for you, you fatso.
Yes. Yes. And I've noticed it because, we make a lot of content on TikTok with We're Not Really Strangers. And a lot of it is like love, breakup sort of stuff. Like my TikTok probably thinks that I'm a
Emo.
a 22-year-old girl that is heartbroken and depressed
because of the
that
content.
just strangely loves golf. Because like the only things I like are our posts. And I watch our posts a lot and I, try to see the comments and the whatever.
Of course.
And so I get served all of this like depressed breakup advice geared towards women. And I would love to know, like seeing your Uber rating, like who does TikTok think I am? But if I just feel like, if you're in that type of zone, it keeps feeding you content in that.
I'm surprised pharmaceutical companies haven't been advertising on TikTok.
There might not be a lot to.
Because I watch the morning sports shows when I wake up,
Yeah.
and it's just all pharmaceutical. The entire
Right.
Ozempic, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol. Like,
Maybe
you name it.
pharmaceutical companies think you're so fat, your thumb can't even use a phone.
I mean, I'll tell you what, just being on TikTok for a long enough time leads you to need pharmaceutical products.
Yes.
So they're winning regardless. But one thing that I also noticed was like when Trump said they're eating the dogs, they're eating their pets. Like I would say that moment was chalked up as a loss in the debate. But it became like viral and like loved on TikTok.
Yeah.
People loved it.
And people were filming their dog.
Completely
And
false.
their dog was looking, and I really feel like it was a win for
completely
Trump.
false, though. That's what's crazy.
Well, we don't know that.
You don't know that.
We do know that.
No, people from Springfield have claimed that.
Come out and said that.
No.
Yes, they have.
There was
they
one.
have.
This is fake news. This is why you have to get your news right.
The one person was a white woman whose last name, ironically, is Farrell.
Well,
Oh, there you go.
so what are you going to say? You're going to doubt her?
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't. Yeah.
There's no Haitians eating dogs.
You don't know that.
You don't.
I do know that.
No, Anand.
All right, your family's from Ohio. Ask Mr. and Mrs. Pfaff.
I'll tell you this. I asked Mr. and Mrs. Deerdeck, who live much closer. They live 15 minutes from Springfield. My parents live 4 hours. They said it's not a problem where they live, but they live very like suburban, but they've heard that it's really bad there, but they haven't been there. It's more city-like there. Here's my point. I don't. Let me tell you this. Let me try if we can settle on this.
Everyone said everything was crazy, everything during Trump's administration, and a lot of it came true.
Also, I don't think Trump made it up.
Yeah.
I think people claimed it.
Yeah.
And maybe those people are wrong. Maybe their cat got hit by a car. But I think
it's been debunked by every credible
I think it's been debunked
news.
by the communists.
No, it's been debunked. Haitians aren't eating pets.
Okay, I saw a video. Let me just tell you this last thing. Let me tell you last thing. I saw a fucking video of a police officer body cam arresting a woman that looked Haitian. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And she barely spoke English. And he said, "Smile. Let me take photos of your teeth. You have hair in your teeth. You have fur in your teeth." And he said, "Did you eat that cat? Why did you eat that cat?"
Yeah.
To the woman. And the woman's like, no. And he's like, you ate that cat.
Do you believe Haitians just have a inclination to eating cats and
I
dogs?
think a lot of cultures eat cats.
Yeah, number one, if you come from a poverty-stricken, way different. They're not from Florida. That's not that abnormal. Also, like voodoo and all that shit is big. And I mean, these are different worlds.
You guys are nuts. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
You guys are absolutely nuts.
I'm going to Springfield.
Go to Springfield and do some journalism.
I'm going to take 30 cats to Springfield.
Yeah, you come back with 3.
And I'm just going to walk around.
And see how long they last.
It's like the Melrose Challenge, but the Springfield Challenge. Anyway, my point with I just want to finish with my point. It's not controversial. I think something that was viewed as a loss at the debate got flipped into a positive because people fell in love with the trend. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of voters are like, oh, I love Trump. I love that fucking those dog videos.
Yeah.
And I think it's just interesting how it can change in the meme world.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real problem is when you look at like the reason why I have the biggest challenge with just mainstream news and data in general is I don't like when I see the jobs data, I know it's fucking bullshit, right? It's all bullshit.
Well, yeah.
I see the CPI, bullshit. I know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a point where like I need some information from somewhere just out of curiosity for myself.
You're right.
And it's impossible to get it, right? Like you don't trust the data from these random government bureaus.
Right.
The polling of the election, I don't trust anybody's data.
Yeah.
Fucking zero polls, do I believe?
Mhm.
Zero. 100%. I don't care if it is favoring Trump or Harris. I don't believe them.
Right.
Right. The sample size is a joke. It doesn't
I don't
make
think
sense.
you should. Yeah.
So it becomes really hard just as like a curious citizen,
Right.
how you make a decision, right? Like how do you decide what to do or whatever it is, right? Like before we were all very much groupthink, right? Like you're a Democrat, you blindly vote a Democrat, you're a Republican, you blindly vote a Republican. This is like a interesting election where I think a lot of people are facing, there's a lot of Republican people saying, I can never vote for Trump because of
Right.
the type of person he is.
Right.
There's a lot of liberal people that are saying, I can't vote for Harris because I don't believe in what she believes in.
Yep.
It's a very unique, like I never believed there was actually people in the middle who like don't know what they
Right.
thought.
Right.
Like I just assumed everyone just picked a side and fucking voted.
Yeah.
And I don't recall an election like this recently where I think it's very difficult for people to decide what to do.
So
I agree.
the interesting point that I kind of think about is access to information.
Yeah.
Which is what makes everyone kind of tribal.
Yeah.
Which side you're on, either one. Was that good or bad?
All that access?
Yeah.
Well, I think that unfortunately it became like access to sugar. Like sugar is, we're evolved to like sugar in very small doses. Now when you can have as much of it as you want, you can overdose on it and
Have diabetes.
we see that happening. And I think information is the same way. And I think like, yeah.
Like in the 90s, no one knew. It was 90% less information that the general public knew.
Yeah.
And we had prosperity.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good or bad, like net, because the problem is the other thing that I think happens is this vicious cycle of negative or radical news being more popular. And I think that has actually changed like the politicians because now they think that they're speaking to the more radical people. Because no one's all the middle people don't talk.
Yeah.
And so they're pandering to social media. And so now everything's getting crazier and crazier. And it's kind of this like circle that's like I think politicians act based on social media.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
And social media is only elevating the most radical shit. And so you're getting this terrible circle.
Yeah. I think it's tough because I think the other issue is that a lot of the way that we consumed information 30 years ago,
Yeah.
in hindsight, there was a lot of bullshit fed to us, right? Like just take diet, for example, right?
I mean, the entire fucking food pyramid.
Food, pharmaceutical, like who's waking up in the morning saying, I trust the food I eat and I trust
Right.
the drugs I take? They don't.
Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, they said eggs were bad for you. It's like the greatest thing you could eat.
Yeah. So, someone had 720 eggs. Did you see that? in a month, and their cholesterol went down 20%. So that's my point. Like when the government tells me that there's no inflation,
Right.
and everywhere I go, everything in my life is more expensive.
Yeah.
I call that a liar.
Yeah.
CP liar.
Yeah. CP lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's CP lie index.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's
Yeah.
fucking fake.
Yeah.
They're just manipulating data. Oh, it's excluding oil, rent, food. CPI is down.
But this is the problem. It's
great.
like, I think it's so bad and like rots a society to have zero trust. And I don't think it's wrong to not trust
I think it's really
at the
bad.
moment, but it's so bad.
I think you can't trust anything now that we've seen all these things come out.
I know. But like, what do you do? That just like destroys.
It could destroy an empire, which is what the America
I
pretty
just
much
read a
is.
great book about it. And it's like one of the fundamental things.
I think you posted it, right?
Yeah, it was
What
from
was
Zach
it?
White.
Oh, okay.
Shocker. But it's right up his alley. You know, it's very good. But one of the things that took down the Roman Empire was just a lack of trust. And so I'm not going to pay my taxes because what are you doing for me? You're not protecting me. You're not.
Nazi Germany.
Right.
They didn't fucking.
Right.
They just lost trust.
Once you lose trust, the next thing that happens is if you stop paying taxes or stop participating in society, it goes away really quick.
So the unique part is that all countries, all people are facing this simultaneously.
Right.
Right? Like we're not the only country that's dealing with this feeling.
That's true. Even China's got some.
Yeah.
I mean, all of
We
Western
talk about it a
Europe,
lot, but it
India,
keeps-
Yeah. I mean, I think
everything.
But China was always the biggest fear.
Yeah.
And like they're so dialed and disciplined and they're in control of all their people, they're going to
after
win.
watching that All In with those two guys, I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about China either.
Right.
Who cares about them?
Is that all social media?
What's
why
that?
we fear China?
No. Is all of this thing that is happening around the world
Yes.
social media?
Yes.
I don't think people realized. So I'm gonna.
I think the genie's out of the bottle, and I think we used to just control everyone's narrative
Right.
through the 4 cable channels or whatever, the 4,
Or state media in those
Yeah.
other countries. Yeah.
And now everyone can do their own research, and maybe we're not equipped to do our own research.
Or maybe, yeah.
I'm gonna flip it the other way. That I think we're gonna reach this like breaking point, which we're reaching right now with just people and emotions, and the real solve for that is if the average individual had a higher quality of life.
But here's the problem. The quality of life is skyrocketing globally.
Yes.
So like, what else do you do?
So I know, and I think it's going to continue to skyrocket.
Yes.
But
Right,
the,
but
well,
the
if
problem
everything
with
keeps going.
the problem with social media is you can incite anger into people really easily.
I mean, I can piss off majority of our podcasts in 30 seconds right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
We can
Right?
post a podcast. We can post a TikTok right now saying you're a loser. You don't show up to the office. You don't wake up at.
Oh yeah. We can
You're
make a
voting
list.
for Harris. You're a loser.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There's a list of 10 things we could rifle off right now. Yeah.
It's pretty easy, right?
It's really easy, and that's
Yeah.
honestly I think the larger issue is how do you correct for that?
I know, but so
Right.
so all you're gathering is just the emotion, but then how people actually live their life is very different. It's like at a game. I was at the Rams game today. The Niner fans, they're cheering. Rams fans are sad. At the end of the game, Rams win. Niner fans are sad. They're all angry for what? 30 minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour. We lost the USC game against Michigan. I told
was
everyone to bet
pissed.
that up at 13.5. I was enormously pissed.
Yeah.
I woke up. I forgot about it. I was like, I'm never going to a game again. They're losers. Fuck this team. And I moved on with my life.
So what's the point?
My point is that the reaction to social media
You're
is
just saying
at
it's,
the moment.
it's transient.
I know. Yeah.
but the problem
exactly.
That's
is you
what you're
literally,
saying.
it's like as if it's like if the whole USC game happened in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you swiped to another USC game where you got your ass kicked. And then you swiped to another, like,
But I
No,
swiped.
so-
Instead, what I did was I swiped to the Colorado game where Deion Sanders and his son won, and I felt great. I felt so good. I
But-
went to sleep so happy, excited to show Dominic, hey, Colorado won. He
Right.
was excited. We forgot about the USC game.
Right.
And we moved on.
right.
That's the beauty of what's happening right now. That's where the quality of life will continue to improve.
Right.
And I do I put aside like the economic impact of AI. I actually think AI will improve the quality of life for a lot of people really fucking
Right,
fast.
right.
Like I'm seeing watching my kids learn in a very different manner than I'm sure people have older kids did it, but like we have like the kids Alexa thing.
Yeah.
The questions they're asking and the
Yeah.
answers they're getting and they're engaging. That Miles was like, what's the biggest lizard in the world? Like I don't know what the fuck the answer was and how much it weighs.
Yeah.
But he was curious and answered it. And then it sent him down a path of questions that he would have never asked and never gotten the answers to.
Right.
And I'm very optimistic that AI and a lot of technology things are going to improve the quality of life so dramatically that when you go on TikTok and you get all fired up, it's for a moment and you move the fuck on. Like you have to have still passion.
I mean,
and
technology.
That's an optimistic take, but there's also a big trend right now of like focusing on how unfair the world is.
But it's getting fairer.
That's a fact, though. I'm saying there are people who, in their minds, think it's the most unfair it's ever been.
I didn't realize that. I didn't think people think it's
No,
more
I think-
unfair now than they thought it was 50 years ago. 50 years ago.
There's people who
I
are-
would say if you polled 25-year-olds,
Mhm.
they would think it's just an unfair society.
I agree. I mean, the people like,
Because when I was 25, I never thought it was unfair.
right, because there's also like, yeah, like I think access to information is dangerous. You can ask how big the world's biggest lizard is, or you can go down a rabbit hole of like, I feel
You could say, "Oh, how much poverty is there in the world?" And then
Right.
you start getting sad about which, appropriately so.
I mean, look, I promise I don't mean this in any negative way, listeners, but like I do feel like there is a group of very privileged young people in this country, like at Ivy League schools, who are like professional protesters.
Yeah.
They're just professional, the world isn't fair people. Yeah. And it's just kind of silly that they're at these places that are the most privileged places in the world. Yeah. Like everyone in the world sends their smartest to these places.
Yeah.
And look at how, I mean, they are wildly upset.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't have a reason to be upset. I'm not saying their cause isn't valid. I'm saying that like, I do feel like there's just been like a protesting group for the last 5 years.
But they honestly, no one gives a fuck what they think.
I hear you, but I think a lot of young people see that and are like, yeah. And also imagine if you can't ever
I think a lot of young people see Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes and say, fuck yeah, too.
No, I'm not saying everyone.
Yeah, I'm just
saying I think that what's crazy is like things are better than ever and information is more accessible than ever. But there's also like more than in a long time, a growing unrest about fairness.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. And that's why I think that feeding into that dialogue is very unhelpful.
It is interesting because like racial inequality in America is a discussion is a very hot topic always.
Yeah.
And all data shows that it's more equitable today than it's ever been.
Right.
The most equitable it's ever been.
Right.
And then globally, America still stands as the most equitable place on earth.
Right.
Not even close. There, Chanel, who helps us with the podcast, posted something in our chat about in Japan, a restaurant posted, no vegetarians, no vegans, no halal, no this. You could be anything in an American restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone to Austin barbecue and I go, I hate to do this to you. I don't even a fucking lick of meat.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
Yeah.
I'll get you some broccoli and some mac and cheese.
They take care of you. Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. I got you. You're annoying, but I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I think just watching, like, I think the one really big thing negative on social media is that like people are triggered very easily.
Yeah.
Like if something happens, they're like, oh, they're profiling me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe like they're just having a bad fucking day.
Right. Right.
You know, like.
It's just interesting. It's an interesting, like, I don't even know where we're really going totally with it, but
We're going nowhere.
It's just interesting, the access to information. I think it's interesting that the whole world is sort of in this state of unrest, and some of it is totally valid. And I think it's good that the main media narrative or the government narrative isn't the only narrative, but it does seem, it's just interesting that it also seems to have made the world kind of go a little batshit. And I'm not saying we should go back or the old way was better, but this way is, I don't know, maybe we're in a period of figuring it out.
I think we're in a very unique period. I think we are going to figure it out. If you take the most optimistic take on AI and technology is that we are closer to a utopian state than
Right.
we've ever been, right? That's what Silicon Valley will tell you, right? Like
Right.
AI will we're going to lose a lot of jobs. There's going to be a lot of pain
Yeah.
short term, like short term, enormous amount of pain.
I think
And then-
in a very small percentage of the population. So I think it's
But don't
white
you think
collar
certain
jobs.
politicians will capitalize on pandering to that pain, and
Yes,
it could
of course.
hurt
And
the
No,
that's
actual
it.
but
product?
here's the thing: which side will it be? Because it's
I don't
only
know.
rich people that are gonna.
I'm not
get
going to
hurt.
claim. I'm not going to claim which side.
Like
'cause who
if you're
knows?
a banker or you're like a lawyer,
Yeah.
you're the one getting displaced.
Here's the problem: if you're running for office and your only incentive is to get elected, you're going
Gonna
to
say
say what you
whatever.
think your people want to hear.
Of course.
And if they want to hear that AI is killing all of our jobs and we need to get rid of it, you'll say it.
Yeah.
And you'll make it worse. And it's just interesting how the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I would assume at this point, given the executives at these companies, I hope they have the ear of the politicians.
Mhm.
That if we don't lead AI, China will.
The problem is that we don't have in technology, maybe definitely not any of the founders. None of those fucking founders have any charisma. They're fucking unbearable human beings. All of them.
Yeah.
You're
And
talking about like Sam Altman.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
They're all fucking.
I mean,
Imagine
it's literally
Sam
him.
Altman trying to talk
Sam
to Kamala.
Altman. Zuck barely got a personality last week.
He
Sergey
couldn't even
Larry,
shake the UFC guy.
Right.
saying-
Couldn't
He doesn't
hold
know
a
how to shake.
t-shirt.
He was just like
Yeah.
Bill Gates. He's out to the pasture.
Yeah.
Sergey and Larry are weirdos. These guys are not. Even Elon, he's not going to.
They all hate Elon.
Yeah, and by the way, he doesn't know how to play the game. Right? Elon's not playing the game. He's like, I'm gonna be a trillionaire. Fuck, I'm gonna burn every house.
Well, he
I
does
can-
with Trump. If Trump's in, he's got Elon for 4 years.
Yeah, and the problem is those technology founders, especially, are so socially inept.
Right.
They're gonna have no impact.
Right.
They're fucking so stupid with their social skills.
I also want to point out, to me, the whole thing of like the government enforcing takedown requests and essentially censorship on places like Facebook tells me that that's not even how the relationship works.
Yeah.
Like, it tells me that these founders will do what
To protect their money.
they're told to protect their money and not getting fucking monopoly issues and all these things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the dynamic is like, hey, can we sit down and we don't want China to beat us? Can we have a real good conversation, figure out how to stay in the lead?
Yeah.
I don't think it works that way.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no,
Fucking
it's
Sam
it's,
Altman being like, yes, okay. I mean, look what, like, Google was, no matter where you stand, that Gemini AI release, I know that was a long time ago now, but like, it was so politically
A joke.
charged.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about like being the best and beating China. It's like interwoven with all this horseshit.
Yeah.
Because it's not Larry and Sergey that are fucking coding Gemini. It's the woke or the, whatever way it swings, but it's the staff.
Sure.
You know? Anywho, I still think at the end of the day, here's the thing. Things are better than they've ever been.
Yeah.
They continue to get better. I know that doesn't feel that way for all people. I know that social media makes comparing and makes a lot of stuff really, really difficult. But at the same time, things do continue to move in a better and better direction.
My thing is that we have to hold, if you're a parent, it is your responsibility to educate and help your child navigate this.
Right.
Too much is like, everyone wants to blame TikTok. So if you're a parent and you blame TikTok, so you're a parent in America blaming the Chinese government.
Right.
What? What are you talking about?
Right.
That's your fucking fault. If
Yeah.
you cannot parent your child,
Yeah.
then that is on you.
Yeah.
That is not on the Chinese government to parent your child.
Yeah.
They're not your mom and dad.
Yeah. I
meaning
think,
the parent should just disable TikTok.
Or to educate them that, hey, I just want to let you know, this is how TikTok works. It realizes you're insecure about something and it's going to pound it to the ground. If you knew that, then
So your kids are in like an elementary school,
Yeah.
or your oldest is. Are they on TikTok?
I mean, my kids are not.
I know you're not, but do you think kids?
I think like fifth,
What
sixth
age?
grade. Fifth, sixth grade.
so. 10, 11.
Yeah. Fourth, fifth, sixth. Those kids, like, they start getting phones. because they're sleeping over places and they get phones and I'm sure when they're on a sleepover,
There's TikToking their face off.
they're just like, all right, what do you got? Oh, you got that? Cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's when they discover all these things, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I vividly remember when I was 6 years old watching Chucky, the horror movie, at a friend's house.
Yeah. Which is the scariest movie
so
of all
scary.
time.
Yeah,
we were so scared. We're 6 years old. We're so scared.
Yeah. And you just don't realize, even like Dominic only wants to ride the bus. I wonder why.
Right.
What are you talking on the bus?
Mm-hmm. He's watching Charlie D'Amelio videos.
Yeah, they're
Shaking ass on TikTok. He's like, Dad, I'll be cool on the bus.
I don't know if that's
you
the
might
thing.
be surprised.
That's good.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah?
No, I have beef.
Oh yeah, what's your beef?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of TikTok related.
TikTok
You have
related.
beef with a TikTok celebrity.
So this guy Manolo,
Yep.
he's a golf influencer.
Yeah.
I think he has 1 million Instagram followers.
Yeah.
I don't know what he has on TikTok. He or someone from his team reached out to us to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I don't play golf. I don't give a fuck about golf.
Yeah.
AJ just
friends with
launched. No, AJ launched a beautiful hilltop in downtown on Hill Street. I
I
think
think it's called something else, right?
is it called something else? It's
Yeah.
711 Hill Street
Okay.
that I know. And it said Hilltop in the front. So
Okay.
maybe it's called something else. So it's a private event. It's a friends and family. And I'm there with a couple friends.
The golf guy's there.
Golf guy's there. My golf friend goes, "Oh, that's Manolo."
Mm-hmm.
He recognized him. And I was like, "Oh, I'll go up to him and just introduce myself." And I said, "Hey, my name's Anand from group chat. I name drop Drama
Mm-hmm.
because I know he probably knows him from Golf World." The guy wouldn't shake my hand.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't say anything to me and he just shook his head like this. And then he has a security guard.
Wow.
TikTok.
And the security guard gave me deuces.
Peace sign?
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
And I'm like, who the fuck are you? I
Yeah.
was like, do you know how many people I've been around in my life?
Yeah.
Diddy! I was at Diddy's.
Freak off. He shook my
And
hand.
like, he's the guy that's going to diss me?
Yeah.
I've never been dissed in my life.
Yeah.
I've been around Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Lewis Hamilton, Jay-Z, Drake, Nas. You name Kanye.
Say Diddy. Say
you name
Diddy.
it.
Yep.
Well, you got dissed by Manolo.
Who is Manolo?
He's the top.
He's the top of the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. It's fucked up.
Like, who does he think he is?
Maybe there's so many people. He must be so famous to a very annoying group of
But
people.
it's a private event. It's not a golf course.
and
Yeah.
not white people there.
No.
That's even funnier.
Yeah. I also do want to say, I think part of it is like the TikTok, like, in the old days, or Jay-Z or Nas or any of these people that you just named, like, had to come up through a system, and they saw how people treat people, and they saw fans versus this versus whatever. I mean, I know nothing about this guy really, but like, the guy got famous from pointing a phone at himself
And I
overnight.
heard, so I did some research.
Mhm.
I talked to a few folks.
Yeah.
He's a failed actor with a fake accent. So his whole bit is fake.
Yeah,
but that's good
bit's
for
a bit.
TikTok.
Yeah. And he was a caddy.
And he was in Caddy.
Yeah. But think about it. You're a caddy at some, high-end country club. You feel like hot shit for being around those people. And all of a sudden you're a fucking celebrity. The guy probably developed a bad way of dealing with people.
I mean, it's a vetted event. It's not like a public.
Okay, put it like this. I've been around people like on the cusp of success.
Yeah.
And they act a certain way.
Right.
Still humble, hungry, whatever. Then, I interact with them at the peak of their success.
Yep.
And they act a very different way.
Yeah.
Right? We've all seen that. And then I've seen people on the downward trajectory of that success.
Yeah, different than the first two completely.
Completely.
Yeah.
And then I've seen full circle because I'm fucking old. Now I've seen their third
Reascension,
leg where they're back on top.
And they act differently again.
And I can't tell you how many of those people that when I run into these people all the time, the energy is so positive. Like the reality is that like Manolo will get his slice of humble pie at some point.
I think now.
It may not be now. It may be 10 years and you may have to deal with that. In 10 years
I'm
from
going
now,
to keep dissing
You
him
can
on
do
this
the
podcast.
Dave Portnoy
you're going to make it bigger.
bottle of champagne with his name on it, and you can drink it when.
Yeah.
things aren't going well.
So I think like the reality is like he's on the cusp and he's beyond the cusp in his community. He's like at the top of his thing. And so it's funny.
But he's not that famous. He's nobody.
Yeah, but in his world,
At the H-Wood opening keys,
yeah,
which was like a month ago, I think.
yeah.
Walk up, Michael B. Jordan. He's just literally on top of the Hollywood.
Yeah.
He still gave me love.
It's different. You know him from a different world.
Yeah, it's different.
Very different.
It's different, and also like, look,
But the way you went up to him is also, it's not the right way to go up to celebrity.
He's not a celebrity.
Obviously he is. He
reached out to us. He reached out to us.
probably like someone from
you
his
need
team.
a warm intro.
What's the warm intro? There's no. It was literally the party was ending.
I'm just saying. If you ever want to go up to someone again, get a warm intro.
Also, you don't know who reached out.
Yeah.
It might not have been him personally. Look, here's the thing. Certain people deal with it well, certain don't.
Yeah.
Usually we've seen the way things play out. People who don't deal with it well don't stick around long. People who do.
So two of
It's
our
fine.
very close friends, Omar Miller and Julia White,
Yeah.
Urkel.
Yeah.
We've been all around the world with these two.
Yeah.
They're very close friends of ours.
Yeah.
When people come up to them, they always shake their hand.
Yeah.
They always say
But
hi.
they've been famous for 30 fucking years. It's very different. Very
But also
different.
like I know
Manolo's been famous for 6 months.
So he's going to fail.
I know people whose names we all do, we don't need to say, who were dicks to people.
Yeah.
And the way their story played out the way their story played out.
Yeah.
Even if this guy never sees like a day of reckoning, it's just that maybe he could be much bigger if he treated people a little differently. Maybe
I was like, I'm significantly more important than you, Manolo.
right.
But that's the problem. That's your problem.
That's the problem.
You got dissed.
Now
You're
you're
not.
getting into it, yeah.
You got dissed.
You just gotta
That's
take
the
the
problem
L.
that to your point.
Okay, wait. I'm
No,
gonna pause.
hold on,
Pause
hold
for
on.
a second. Hold on 1 second. This is probably the first time you ever went up to someone.
No, I've done it before.
I've gone up to 1,000 fucking people. He has seen me go up to thousands of people.
Yep.
I mean,
Very
someone
good.
went up to
Post
Ariana
Malone.
Grande.
No shame. Yep.
Post Malone.
I mean, but listen, I've gone up to people my entire young life because anything to help the brands, I would
Right.
go do it.
Right.
We were at backstage House of Blues
Yep.
for a concert.
Yep.
One of the guys was dating Ariana Grande,
Yep.
and I walk up to her.
And
She's
did-
probably 17 at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just start pitching her, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, whatever, fuck off."
Yep. Yep.
Did I get mad at Ariana Grande? No, I don't give a fuck. Like that's I had a. You have to understand, like those types of people, the amount of people that are coming up to like a Manolo, like on a golf course on a Sunday, males. He probably was like, "Oh, another fucking Indian golfer."
he reached out to us.
I don't think
but
he did, though,
may not have
personally.
DM'd you personally.
Right.
May have been an assistant. It may have been a
It
someone
was a
else.
private event. It's
But
not,
here's the thing.
I wasn't
I know.
at a
At the
driving
end of the
range
day-
at a
I
public
know, but
course.
I went up to Ariana Grande at backstage at House of Blues. And
Yeah,
she
countless
still dissed
people.
me.
Yeah. Here's the point of the story. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's not a you thing.
I know it's not because I was very nice and I was
I
like,
know, but you're
hey,
getting offended by it. It doesn't matter.
I'm offended by it because of the situation and because someone from his team and I mentioned every
Right.
I
but he
did
may
all
not
the
know what to
signal.
Drama's point.
Right.
He's the talent.
I'm just saying it's okay to be mad. It's okay to talk shit about him on the podcast. It's okay to have a moment of beef, but don't let yourself get stressed out by it because it has nothing to do with you. That's just how he treats people that come up to him. And however that will play out, but it's not an honor thing.
I have an amazing story of one of my first like stopping for a celebrity. This is 2000. I just graduated college, so probably fall of 2002.
Mhm.
Graduated some, yeah. I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard, crossing the Coffee Bean that used to be at Sunset Plaza. If
Yep.
you remember that.
Yep.
Not the one that's where it is today.
Mhm.
There used to be another one.
Mhm.
And I'm driving and I had a box of t-shirts and have 5-4 t-shirts and I saw Matthew Perry.
Yep.
The
I
corner of
remember
my
this.
eye.
Yeah.
Fucking make a U-turn, pull up to him.
Yep.
Go up to the coffee sheet. I go, yo, and I wait. I'm like sitting in my parking lot. I see him go to his car. Hey man, huge fan. He's like, thanks. I'm like, can I give you some clothes?
Yeah.
And let's kind of triangulate this.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry was on Friends, the biggest show on
And it was still going.
television.
It was still going then.
Right.
And Manolo's the one dissing people.
Yes.
But
Right.
Matthew Perry was the biggest star on
maybe
the
your
planet.
approach was bad. My
Yeah.
approach was nice.
But also, some people are just dicks.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And here's the last thing I want to say about Manolo. I know someone on his team or whatever. I can get on any golf course before you in the country or in the
I know,
world.
but stop
And I
doing
don't
all
know
that.
if you play golf.
I know, you're doing too much.
I think I'm going to have Manolo on the pod.
Yeah, we need to get
I
him
think
in
I
here.
might personally pay him
We need to get him
to
in
be
here.
here.
He
and the
can't
security
get,
guard.
I literally can get on any course and I don't even play golf.
I think the next time Anand has to go on a trip, we should have Manolo come on that
yes,
episode.
Manolo will be the
you
third
name
time.
the club.
And we should get his side.
Let's do it head to head, me and him.
What happened with Matthew Perry?
So, anyways, he, I see him. And I go, hey, I just launched this brand. I really want to give you this T-shirt. He goes, hey, thanks. And I go, is there any way I can get like, your manager or agent's address to send more clothes?
Yeah.
And he goes, you know what, man? This T-shirt would be great. And just walked away.
That's good. That's good.
But he was nice.
But there's an art to that.
Yeah,
he's
you know?
he's an A-list star.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you how many celebrities I went up to at the peak of their fame.
Yeah.
Like I went up to Jamie Foxx, you name it. Like the most famous people, I'd walk up to me like, hey man, I got this brand. And be like, yeah, all right, bro. And I'd say like,
That's my point.
Yeah.
You're making my point.
I know, but maybe it was your delivery.
And
Maybe it's you,
also,
not
maybe
me.
he's just
I'm
a
gonna go
dick.
to Manolo. Tell me where Manolo is next week.
Yeah.
And
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna go
you,
up
he's
there.
at the fucking
I'm gonna
driving
bring him a
range.
drink. I'm gonna bring him a bottle of 1942. Like, hey Manolo, you like tequila?
but you
And
didn't have
Manolo's gonna be like,
you
what?
didn't have 1942 back then.
What?
You just went up as a human.
I know, but you can get 1942 now. Maybe you fucked up. I'm gonna
I'm
see.
not-
I want to know if Manolo is.
I want
wanna
to get to
go-
the bottom of this.
Yeah, I wanna
can
know.
tell you where Manolo will be next week. I can.
Okay, tell me where he is.
The question is,
I'm
what
gonna
driving
go.
range is he at?
I'm gonna go and see
Is
if
he
I can
even
book him.
good?
He's pretty good. Yeah. I
I'm
don't know
go-
how good, but I've been at the driving range next
All
to
right,
him. and he's
I'm
pretty good.
my whole life for the next month is to find a Manolo.
Okay.
If he disses me too, then I'll be like, all right, he's an asshole.
He's gonna diss you.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. I've been dissed by so many
Right.
people. It does
The,
not
the
bother
thing
me.
is, like, at my point in my life, I never go up to people.
Then you fucked up.
Right. You took a risk and it didn't work out.
You should never go up to anyone ever
I'm
again.
never gonna go up to
should
anyone.
never.
You should not.
Never. I don't give a fuck
You
about
took
any of these
a risk.
people.
You're beyond that now.
Yeah.
You took a risk.
And you failed.
And it was a 50-50 shot. And it
It
didn't
shouldn't
work.
be 50-50.
But who cares? Some people are fucking assholes.
Why are you? Who
I mean,
cares?
we were just talking about Pfaff, and you've said many times on this podcast, he almost punched a man in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least Manolo
You're
didn't
not,
do
you don't
that.
seem pretty. You're not even that bad.
We could have got a check.
Yeah.
We could have got a check.
You're not even mad about
25
Pfaff.
mil would have been
This
nice.
guy's been raping and he basically
Right.
almost beat your wife. Manolo just said, fuck off.
Gave you a peace sign.
Yeah. He said peace. He
No,
wants
his
peace.
security said peace.
His
wants
security
peace and
said,
love.
I want peace.
Peace
You know what
and
the
love.
sign is? Peace.
Oh, shit. That's funny. Okay. I'm glad we got that
This is
out.
too long. How long are we
How long
on,
are we?
Josh? Yeah.
Okay, do either of
Let's do
We'll do
Nike.
Nike. Let's do
No,
Nike.
Nike and Johnny Ive, and we could
No,
close
just
out.
do Nike.
Okay.
I gotta go sleep.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, it's actually, it was a bad week for someone else.
Yeah.
Not just Anand
And Pfaff.
and Pfaff. The Nike CEO. So I'll tell you what I saw. So obviously Nike has been struggling. Lots of takes and reasons for that. The funny thing is their CEO stepped down and got replaced by a former executive, which funny enough started as an intern.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. And the stock just exploded.
Went up 10%.
So I can only imagine. Look, I mean, once again, not talking shit about the former CEO. He had a good run. I've never been the CEO of Nike. I'm not going to hate, but like, I would imagine that is about as clear of a sign as you could get.
I think the trouble with Nike, whoever the board is, I don't know who's on the board,
Mhm.
but they hired a software guy to to run a
Oh,
consumer
it's
facing.
still that guy. Remember we talked about that guy a lot.
Well, yeah, the previous CEO, John Donahoe, was the ServiceNow CEO.
Right.
Like,
He-
how do you think he can run Nike? That's why he missed on
yeah.
Anthony Edwards. He missed on literally every athlete
Yeah,
you could think of.
and
Right.
not just athlete. Like, I think reality is Nike is not a technology company.
Right.
It is a fashion brand. And fashion brands are built with emotion.
Right.
That is why people buy. Like, Miles, our youngest,
Yep.
we gave him a pair of black shorts yesterday.
Yeah.
Because he just wants to wear anything Dominic goes. He's 4 years old. He goes to my wife, he goes, "Is that Nike?"
Miles said that?
Yeah. I was like, we were looking at each other. What the fuck is Nike?
Yep.
And then we realized next to our house, not far from yours as well,
Yeah.
we drive by every morning.
Yeah.
Winning isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
Nike,
Yep.
Nike, right?
Damn, it works on a 4-year-old.
4-year-old. This kid's like, I want Nike. Is that Nike? And we were like, no, it's fucking like,
But
I think it's
how
Target.
did he learn it?
Right?
You,
Oh, no,
you
don't
think he
tell him
learned it
that.
from the ads?
100%. Because we talk about the ads at home.
And Dom
So-
loves the ads, right?
Dom loves the ads.
Right.
And then one day, Dominic was crying because he lost something against Miles. I don't know, some like game.
Right.
And Miles, at that time was he probably just turned 4. Last couple of weeks, he goes, Dominic, winning isn't for everyone.
Oh my God.
And so
That's a dope campaign. That's cool.
I mean, it's unbelievable campaign. And shout out to a Kathy sent me the T-shirt that said "Winning isn't for everyone." Nike T-shirt. So
Didn't you post a photo of Dom like in front of it?
yes,
Yeah.
because I love the campaign, and Nike didn't realize at the end of the day the reason why Nike works
Yeah.
is the emotion they created. Like, as a adult, my fondest memories are wearing Nike, playing sports.
Right.
As a child. And you don't realize at the end of the day, you could do great at Facebook ads, great at shipping, great at all those things.
Right.
But you create no memories and emotion if you don't do great marketing and you don't tell great stories. And Nike was the king of telling
Right.
those stories.
I would also add Gatorade in the 90s. Be like Mike.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. But Nike's just on another fucking level of size than a Gatorade.
Well, you
And-
also got to think like for the most part, every athlete that your kids are watching on TV has a Nike logo on their jersey.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
But don't you also think, just wondering, I think that's probably 80% of it.
Yeah.
Don't you also think that when this CEO took over, there was a little bit of a story that like e-com and the Nike website and everyone's website.
Well, that's it. I think they thought it was a technology company. That's my point.
Right. But where I'm saying is even on a different level, like retail has remained more important than I think people thought it was in those days. And just from like a nuts and bolts perspective,
Yeah.
like this guy might not have had a strong retail strategy, and retail didn't go away like we thought it was going to.
I think there's a ton of, look, Nike always wins with the youth. The only way you win with the youth is by telling incredible stories. And then you have to be where the youth are. So if they go to Dick's Sporting Goods and they can't get the shoe they want,
Yeah.
they just buy the next brand.
Yeah.
That's it. It's very simple. And I think Nike was a huge fumble on every stretch of the imagination. This new CEO, though, 36-year veteran of Nike,
Right.
started as an intern.
Right.
How old is he?
I mean, intern 36 years ago.
50s.
Let's say, I think he was,
It's got to be in his 50s.
yeah, it's
think
probably
it's
late
late
50s,
50s. Yeah.
is my guess, 60. He is the embodiment of Nike, probably.
Right.
I think he's going to absolutely crush it. You should always, Walmart CEO started as a forklift driver. Costco CEO started as a warehouse person. Like these like iconic companies need like homegrown talent. What's interesting is I posted something on my Instagram story and I got like a ton of messages around it. And someone was 30 years old and said, hey, as a 30-year-old person working at a big company, I felt like this can't be replicated because I can easily just get more money going somewhere else. And it's not fair to just sit and hope that you develop. The big difference is, and this is on the company, not on that individual, Nike has created a company where like you want to be there.
But also, look, so you're right, and that could totally be the case. We don't know. But I would also argue that what's the new CEO's name? John?
Elliot
Hill. I would argue Elliot is probably not the type of person that sits around and waits for a promotion.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. So it could be the company culture, but I'm guessing there's also a lesson here about how to ruthlessly progress within your organization.
I also think that the other issue, recruiting talent, because they're exclusively in Portland.
Right.
Yeah, but they never had that problem.
I would just argue
it's probably a new problem.
I would just argue anyone who hears this story and the thought crosses their mind that that's not possible for me and my organization, I would just stress you to ask, am I doing everything I could do to progress?
And I think the talent problem is probably real because no one very talented that is from any of the metropolitan cities wants to move to Portland. And I know that's like a key thing for them.
But I will say
this is why like everyone shits on technology.
Right.
All the venture firms were like, okay, we need to open New York offices.
Right. That's very true.
That's where people want to be. And we need to if we want to get New York talent, we need to have a New York office.
You are right. But I will tell you, like, I remember from our old marketing days and things like that, like getting a job offer from Nike was like worth it.
Yeah.
Like I'll do anything.
I think it's changed.
Yeah, you might be right. And I think both are true. I do think these people should open other offices, but Nike had that type of reputation that if you were working in streetwear or you were working in whatever, which is where a reasonable place to come from would be, and you got offered a gig at Nike, you were taking
Here's my gut. I think this CEO is going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah. He's
been there 36 years, right? So 36 years means he got there in 1980, what? 8?
I thought it said 88 on his LinkedIn.
1988.
Yeah.
So 1988. So he lived Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Right.
That era.
Right.
And he saw what one human being did to that business.
Yeah.
Right? Like Nike would have been ASICS without Michael Jordan. Nike would have been a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
It would not have been what it is without Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He made the brand.
Yeah.
And I think if you know that and you lived it as an intern, like think about it, you're an intern in 1988, you're watching, you're like, holy fuck, this company that I interned at, they just hit the lottery.
Right.
Got the greatest, most famous, most influential person in sports ever.
Right.
It can happen again.
Yeah. Easy. I feel like Nike with smart leadership could so easily.
So easily.
I think it's a pretty easy game plan.
Yeah.
They've just missed on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, they missed on distribution. They missed on talent. It's just like,
and I think the Portland centric thing is a real problem.
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk to Elliot. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, this is great. It's just, look, I think in our world of, at the end of the day, group chat is, I would say, foundationally a business podcast. We all love it. Like, this is our sport.
Yep.
And this feels like a big trade, or something with like a very promising, like, oh, he's going to make the team, turn it around. I just can't wait to watch how this plays out.
I'm very bullish on.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It'll be a good case in knowing your business and also this whole thing of like lifting people up through the organization that know it the most.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a little bummer for the ServiceNow CEO that they increased 10 billion in market cap.
That's rough. I mean, maybe he's at peace with like, okay, I wasn't the right fit, but like that stock straight up was pretty serious.
I think he got paid like $100 million.
I'm sure he's obviously financially fine.
Let me tell you, when you go up to him, he's going to shake your hand.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
2 peace signs from the security guard.
Right.
I guarantee you he has security.
Right. Okay. Let's highlight some of our comments on YouTube.
Yeah, let's do it.
We love our YouTube comments. What do we got?
Okay, the first one. Fuck you to the first comment. Go USC, lol, blood, black. Okay, we lost. Fuck you.
Damn.
Next one. Niraj, it's a good week when Diddy is arrested and Zach isn't on the pod. Whoa.
Damn.
Shots fired.
Wow,
Shots fired.
Niraj.
What's funny is like the response is overwhelmingly
I thought everyone loves Zach.
positive for Zach. Yeah.
Okay, next one.
I think Zach,
David
it sounds
Mason.
like Zach has a couple shit talkers.
Yeah.
You know,
David Mason. Dictator Waltz puts a 95% tax on Zyn. That's the final inflationary straw that broke the camel's back. Okay. No communists in our comments. I like that.
right? It's really interesting. Like, that's the type of shit that like the Neff Boys
goes viral.
listeners pay attention to.
That's all they care about. They're a
Yeah.
single voter issue.
Right.
They're a single issue voter.
From my cold dead hands, you're
Yeah.
taking my Zyn.
And we got a shout out from Dave. Shout out to Dee for finding out what Big Ten football is all about. Go
Damn.
Blue.
Oh God.
Dave in Michigan.
They're just
A lot
going
of negative
hard
stuff.
on you today.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Dave. Fuck Michigan. You guys
Damn.
ran the ball like a 700 times, didn't get one holding call. I just want to call that out. That's called cheating.
Right.
You do not want us to win.
Were
You guys
they-
were afraid.
Were they in Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Is in
It's
Michigan.
not good for America for USC to win.
You felt it was likely that USC could win?
We
know
should
it.
have won.
We should have won. We blew it at the end.
Hmm.
It was disgusting.
Damn, these Michigan fans are fucking on you, bro.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
At least you got Michael Phelps.
I can't. I want to also say fuck you to Dave because Ohio, I'm
Yeah,
not allowed
OH.
to.
Yeah, OH.
yeah.
Ohio State's going to crush Michigan. Crush.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Michigan's not good.
They're not good. We blew it. It was our fault.
We just suck.
Okay, why don't we save these shout outs for, when things play out a little bit later in the season.
Save Dave's shout out for when Ohio State plays Michigan.
Who's a bloodbath
Just
guy?
shove it
Save
up
him
Dave's
too.
ass.
Yeah.
And then I have a shout
Diddy
out.
style.
Our close friend, Melissa, who listens to the pod.
Yep.
Her 40th birthday. We were in Scottsdale this weekend.
You went to Scottsdale this weekend?
Yeah.
Nice.
Was Manolo there? I feel like he goes, he's a big Scottsdale.
Shout out to
They have the
Manolo.
most golf courses of
That's what I'm saying, Manolo.
I
was
heard it's
there.
golf heaven. I'm sure Manolo's heavy in the circuit over there.
And Joe Diggs, who listens to the pod as well, set us up nicely, and we had a great
Oh
time.
yeah, I got to respond to Joe. I think Joe Diggs DM'd me about golfing in Scottsdale. He lives in Scottsdale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's a
think
big golf guy.
I think he did. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
All right, Manolo, I'll see you.
All right, Manolo. Anand's coming for you. We're gonna.
Well, too bad he has security. He's going to beat your ass.
I can hire security too.
You better, next time you see Manolo, you better have a gun.
Yeah. Luckily in LA, it won't be a crime, so it's totally fine. All right, we're out. Everyone have a great week. Thank you for listening. Peace.